So, as I was reflecting today, I was led to the question of what drives me? What is that thing that gets me to wake up in the morning? What is that thing that makes me want to, go to school, have a career, live, read the word, all that stuff? What is that thing that drives me? And of course, the first thing I want to say is God. God is the reason. But that's so generic, so easy, so quick. That doesn't require any effort. But when I actually thought about it some more, actually thought about it, and it took me a minute, I got to servanthood. That's the bottom line of what fuels me. Why do I do the things that I do? Why do I feel the desire to speak to others, to, grow further in my faith, to go to school, to, join clubs, whatever the case may be? What is my desire? What am I hoping to get? Why do I watch certain things? Why do I read certain things? And it all came down to servanthood. How I'm always thinking constantly, how can I share this with others? How can I use this to help somebody else? How can I remember this, or how can I apply this, or create this into a certain way that I can share it to others? I can talk to others about it. I can post it on social media. My mind is constantly focused on how can I help others, how can I serve others. And while that is great, and that is definitely what the Lord wants us to do, is to be in service to one another. The Spirit, some of the spirits, the fruits of the Spirit are lovingness and kindness, and so of course He wants us to be that. That's what Jesus did when He came here. He served. I was also realizing just how quickly that can become negative, and how I can have the initial motive to be okay, I want to serve others, but it can quickly get contorted into how can I be put on this pedestal? How can I gain attention, or get receive gratitude, be envied, or be idolized or whatever for what I choose to do? How can others see what I'm doing and want to do that as well? Or me, just myself, me thinking, okay, I'm doing all this because I'm trying to help them out. And then it can quickly get twisted into, okay, I'm doing all this because I want to look good. I'm doing all this because I want other people to think that I'm highly, higher than what I actually am, or smarter than what I actually am, or more faithful than I actually am, more obedient than what I actually am. The things that the Lord gives us, those good things that He wants for us, those fruits of the Spirit, all those things are good. That's the characteristic of God. Everything about Him is good. But the enemy, the way that the enemy creeps in, because people give the devil too much credit. We be thinking, oh yeah, the devil is he physically everywhere, and the devil really be he got so much control. He really be doing stuff. And really, he don't. The devil can't be everywhere. He's not omnipresent like the Lord. So what he does is he uses these things that we live with every day, that we normalize, that we don't even notice. He uses those things to work within us and to create all of this divisiveness. So the devil will use he will use pride. He will use self-seekingness. He will use envy, jealousy. He uses all those things to contort our minds and to contort our hearts as well. And that's why our hearts become so hardened, because we have an initial motive to, okay, I want to do good, and it'll quickly turn into, okay, how can I post this on Instagram or post this on Twitter or whatever, so people can see it and think that I'm such a good person, and then I get all this attention and all these compliments and stuff, and then you start to feed on it, and it initially started as, oh, I just wanted to be a good servant, and it quickly turned into, okay, I'm looking for attention. I'm looking for fame. I want to get on Ellen. I want people to know what I'm doing. I want to be known for this. And it's we lose what the Lord was initially planning to do with us. We initially started out Lord, I want you to use me as a vessel. Lord, I want to be able to, like I said, reach these people, make a difference, make an impact, influence them. And it can so quickly get turned into, oh, wow, now I'm becoming prideful. Now I'm becoming focused on the attention that I'm going to get from it, and I'm focused on the accolades that I'll receive from it, and all those things which are not of God, and they quickly become of the devil. And so the devil has all these different devices, like I said, pride, envy, self-seekingness, all those things are divisive, or they're all devices that the devil uses to try to mess us up, to make us more broken than what we already are, take us off course of where we're headed. And so it was like, while I was thinking, okay, yeah, servanthood is definitely, that is definitely what drives me, I was also realizing, like, yo, like, I quickly get lost in that, like, or I can think of examples or think of times or whatever when my heart was not in the right place, or when it got turned from being in the right place to something totally different. And so it's just like, we have to constantly be aware of that. It requires you to, like I always say, be aware of the motives of your heart, and just be aware of, your emotions. Your emotions will lie to you. Your emotions are not truth. What the word says, what the Lord says is truth, but your emotions and your situation and stuff, that is not truth. But we will use that. We will fall into that, and the devil uses that as, like, those are his tools to get us. Like, he uses our emotions and stuff to get us. And so I think it's so important to know, how can he use you? Because like I always say too, like, we're broken. We're born in sin, and so it's so easy to ignore pride. It's so easy to ignore selfishness. It's so easy to ignore anger and envy and jealousy, because those are normalized in us. Those are normal. Those are quick. Those are the first reactions to many things, and they make sense. And that's what the world tells you. They create all these different ways and things to make you want to do that. Like, we have Instagram and we have, Twitter and stuff like that, to constantly be aware of what other people are doing. Why? So we can constantly compare ourselves to them. Why? So we can be envious of what they have. Why? So we can be running and chasing after things that we are not supposed to have, that aren't for us. And it throws us off course. And then, of course, we're thrown out of our will. We're thrown out of our purpose that we're supposed to have, because now we are way off track. We're focused on things that we're not even supposed to be focused on. We know about things that we're not supposed to know about, and we don't know about things that we're supposed to know about. And so it's so important to just, like I said, be aware of your emotions, be aware of your motives, of your heart and stuff, and just know, like, what drives you. Think about that. Like, what drives you every day? What makes you get out of bed? What makes you go to work? What makes you go to school? What makes you really, take care of, like, what is driving you? What is really deep rooted within you that is moving you? Is it fear? Because that ain't that's not of God. Like, fear is of the devil, and, like, fear drives so many of us. Our love for money, that drives you, and that, or your security, finding security in money, that drives you. I know that was definitely a thing. Like, that was part of why I was chasing after the career that I'm chasing after, because I know that security comes with it. And while, of course, I wasn't at the forefront, I thought servanthood was the main thing. It wasn't. I know at the bottom of it all, it was security. I've grown up poor. I don't want to be poor anymore, and so I'm chasing after that. And so just think about that. Like, take a moment to really think about, what is driving you? What is making you do the things that you do? And to be aware of, or think about those moments that you did stuff and it just wasn't you. It was out of character, or you didn't even think, you didn't even think twice about it. You just reacted. You just did it. You just straight up talk crap about that person, or you just straight up curse somebody out, or just straight up had just a negative or a bad feeling, or whatever the case, or bad thought. You might not have said it out loud, but you thought it. And it's just like, was that of you? No, but we'll ignore it, and we let those thoughts fester. And so, like I said, when we focus on these things that aren't of, what the Lord has for us, and we get focused on what the enemy is trying to tell us, because he's always in our head. And it's so important to speak truth out loud and be around people that speak truth into you, because he's always constantly in your head. He wants to keep you isolated. He wants to keep you at bay, lost, away from the truth as far as possible. Like, he wants you to be lost. And so it's important to know, because those thoughts quickly become, you set yourself up for failure. You set yourself up creating these standards and these thoughts and things that don't happen. And so then you're disappointed. That disappointment quickly leads to discouragement. Now you like, this is not for me, nothing is right, and all this. You start questioning everything, and it just continues to fester. And that discouragement leads to doubt. Like, you just doubting everything now. Nothing is real, and things that happened before, you're not sure about it. Now you question everything. So doubt. And then lastly, that doubt leads to divisiveness. So like I said, whether it be you, divisiveness between you and somebody else, or the worst part is divisiveness between you and God. And that's what the devil wants. At the end of the day, he wants you to be separated and away from God, because he knows how powerful God is. He knows the truth about the Lord, and he knows that the closer you get to him, the further he's forgotten, and the less power he can have. And he loses his people, his followers. And so again, think about that. Like, what is driving you, And how can you combat that? And how can you focus on what the Lord has for you and focus on those positive things? And like I said, and align yourself correctly to where you are following behind what He wants for you and what He has planned for you. And having more of those characteristics of Him and less of those characteristics of the world and of the enemy. All right, y'all, just a quick thought. Talk to you later.